In this programming session, I'm going to update the website for webdevladder.net, which is the website for this channel. So this is the VODs channel for WebDevLadder, where I post raw programming footage, and I also have a main channel where I'll post more effortful content. So I'm going to shrink myself down so I don't forget. I actually did the first iteration of this website yesterday with my head giant across the entire screen, and I had to delete that video. So we didn't get to see the actual initial implementation, but it was really simple. Basically, we have, this was already here, this section where you just kind of say, welcome. Let me shrink this down a little bit. And then this video section is what I added yesterday. So basically, we have the WebDevLadder main channel, WebDevLadder VODs, and then my first two videos. You can see it's so super bare bones, didn't do much here. You can see here's what I got so far on my channels. Yeah, so what we're gonna do today is I added, since you can see I only have one VOD listed here, I actually posted 2 more VODs yesterday. And so we'll do that, and I had a couple other things. So I'm gonna, I'll pull up GitHub, and instead of having my notes off screen, I'll get them on screen, but give me one moment. So basically, this is the repo for webdevladder.net, and you're gonna see my raw footage. I didn't do any prep work other than take some notes when I was thinking about it. So I'm gonna make sure that we first check out a branch. So we're gonna say add more VODs. And then, so from here, before I can push up a change and have GitHub nicely like let me open a pull request, I need to make some sort of change on the, you can't just like push up. If we push this up like here, let me just double check that this is still the behavior that I was seeing. So going over here to GitHub, this is the URL for the webdevladder.net, which is the website. So I just pushed up that pull request. However, you can see, even though we do see the branch here, add more VODs, it didn't open up like a nice like little thing. I could probably just do this and take the time to, you know, from add more VODs. But I'll show you what my normal workflow is to get a real change in there. And then I start pushing it up. Because sometimes I actually just want to back out. I don't want to open a pull request right away. Sometimes I actually do need to think through a little bit before I put something up to GitHub. In this case, though, let's just change a single trivial thing, push it up, and then see there. All right, so we can open up our pull request. So we can say like add more VODs and improve the video list. So I'm gonna just copy over the notes that I made. There's not much today, so this is gonna be a fairly short video. So we wanted to add durations. We need to put these like this. And then basically, I kind of said 2 things in one here, but I have 2 more VODs to add into the VODs section. I also have playlists, which is the first way I'm going to organize my VODs. So my main channel, I'm not going to worry about playlists for right now because I don't have nearly enough content to worry about that. But for my VODs channel, I want to make sure from the beginning that I'm giving people some amount of organization, because a lot of the content on the VODs channel will not be for, like, you might be interested in one series of things, but not others. Like, for example, you might be interested in CSS, or you might not be interested in CSS. So we're not going to kind of munge everything into one giant bucket. We're going to have nice playlists where we separate things out. And that's pretty easy to do because I have projects that more or less kind of focus on individual things. The categories won't always be super clean, but for the most part, it's pretty obvious what should go where. So we can say add durations. And what I mean by that is we're going to add the video durations so that you can see how long these videos are on the actual website before clicking over to them. I'll add the other VOD content, which I'll do first. Let me like reorganize this slightly just so we can actually just follow along. We can say add second, third VOD. We'll add playlists as well. So we'll add some data that kind of says which playlist a particular, and I guess, I don't know how YouTube works. My guess is you can actually have a video in multiple playlists. So we won't probably worry about that today, but that is something that, I'm sure you can do that. So maybe we should just keep the data, get the data structure correct in the first place. So in other words, playlist is going to be let's go ahead and make this note. It's going to be a array of playlists, not just a single playlist. So we're also going to add some logos. I don't know. We're not going to have the YouTube logo quite yet. I will do that a different time. Not YouTube, but like, not YouTube. but project, and we'll see I actually don't have them all available, but I do have emoji placeholders for like ear better. My ear training app doesn't have a logo yet. I'll have to make one. I love SVG, scalable vector graphics, for making logos. Highly recommend Inkscape, which is an open source vector graphics tool that's super simple, intuitive, and also very featureful. So I won't be making the vector graphics on video, definitely not today, maybe in the future, maybe, we'll see. I think that's not really quite the content that I think my audience will be interested in. I think this is more just like, let's focus on programming here, and talk. I'll talk about programming sometimes, not just program, but that will be sort of in between other bits of programming. So we have our pull request up. We have some notes. Our first thing was saying, hey, let's add a second and third VOD. So that's here. So we have this one and this one, are two VODs that I did. So let's go ahead and just copy this link over to our project here. We have videos. So here we have our data. So actually we want to say, like, let's make a new file, new module called video data. And let's extract, normally, if I have raw data definitions in a Svelte component, usually my Svelte components are scoped to just dealing with the display and interaction around content and data, not define too much data, especially data that's very clearly like this, like going to be reused in more than one place, almost certainly. And so what we will do is just pull that out like this. And so now we have to import these videos. So if you can see it can do an automatic import over to that. And I always use aliases like $routes. This is not built in, but it's super easy to configure. In my Svelte config, I have, in addition to $lib, if you've used SvelteKit before, $lib, which I don't actually have in this project because I'm not publishing a library anytime soon, if ever, in this particular project. But $lib is a SvelteKit convention where if I have source/lib, I could put library modules into that folder and then import them with absolute paths from anywhere else in the app. That way you don't have to say like, know where you are in the routes folder and say like //lib/ module I actually want. You can just say $lib module that I want. In this case, we can do $routes. What this alias does is say we can do $routes to any path. And I very much prefer that because this allows me to move around modules without relying on the sometimes finicky path rewrites that VS Code extensions try to do. There were pretty bad bugs in the past that I probably am outdated on, but this is just what I enjoy. I really enjoy, for the most part. There can be exceptions, but for the most part, I do absolute imports. So that's why you might see me have to go manually edit sometimes. Sometimes it gets it right. Most of the time it doesn't. Copilot, interestingly enough, is much better at auto-completing these than the automatic built-in VS Code imports, because it can infer based on other code that I actually use $routes, not just /. So we now have our data kind of separated out. I copied the URL, but I lost that paste. So we're going to copy this over, just push this here and put this here. We're also going to copy the titles. I'm not good at naming titles. If you have recommendations, I kind of messed up my first video on my main channel title. The only feedback I got was confusion. So I'll have to do better on titles, but I really am going to try to avoid anything resembling clickbait because I enjoy my self-respect. And I'm not doing this to get the kind of attention on the internet that the average sort of like sponsorship-based influencer is going for, and no shade on them, but this is about me programming and showing my real-world work. I'm not trying to get sponsorships. In fact, I'm not going to do tech sponsorships. I'm not going to lend my credibility to tech sponsorships. So if you're a tech sponsor, just not that you're probably watching this, but you'll have to look elsewhere for your sponsorships. All right, so I'm going to just add these as data objects. So super simple. And then what we'll do is say title. Whoops, that's not title, that's the URL. And the other one's the title, okay? So this gives us our objects. And now if we refresh our page, we should just see things work. So I'm gonna, actually I never opened it, did I? No, it looks like not. All right, so pulling this up over to localhost, open up our console as well. Localhost. Oh, am I not running my server? Okay, so I need to run my server. I'm gonna split this over and make sure I always remember to put this over here so my face isn't covering the important thing here. So if I need to run commands, I can do it here. So over back to our website, here we are, and we can see our videos now have 2 more. So we can double check that I did the links correctly. I did. Okay. In this so blah. And then so that was real work. Like we just did a thing. I can go ahead and push that code up. I rearranged our modules, so I'm going to type check just because I don't think I was importing that file from anywhere else, but I'm just going to double check. I also forgot, did I do it? I forgot to add with git, so added the file. It's now all pushed up. We can now look at our next. So just to show you, if you're not familiar, I just pushed up on GitHub, and now put in context, question mark. I don't know if, let's put that question mark back. That might be a good note to make. So routes page, question mark, I don't know, maybe, we'll see. So you can see what I did was I just moved this content over here, added 2 new ones here, and we're ready to go. So we imported it instead of defining it right here. That's all I did, and we now have data-driven. It's already data-driven, but now it's more sort of like modularized, where we have a single module where we're going to define data, and that can lend us a lot of flexibility in the future. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is, I think, add duration. So let's just go double check that's what I said. And yeah, so I said we can just remove this from the list. Not that we really need to care. We're not going to get lost on this PR. Add durations. So the idea here is that I need to, or I want to, add the durations manually for every video. So you can see this one says 2309. So what we're going to say, 2309. I'm just going to write this down. So I'm going to zoom in here. 23.09. Okay. That's for my main channel video, which this is a better title. I still don't know what a good title for this video is, but it's better. And I super appreciate the 5 subscribers. That makes me feel seen. Because putting something out there, especially with the getting no reception, was a little bit of a downer for a few hours there. And then I changed the title and I got a lot more views. So anyway, 257 views. I couldn't be happier with that. So anyway, not that I'm doing this for views, but you don't want to spend a lot of time on something and have literally nobody or almost nobody watch it. So it feels good to actually be able to provide value to people. I thought this one was pretty interesting. It's not nothing groundbreaking, but it does show very clearly a translation from a stores-based signal implementation that uses plain JavaScript to the Svelte 5 runes syntax. And it's kind of it shows and demonstrates why the runes syntax is so good and why the leveraging a compiler to do rune syntax gives Svelte an advantage over plain JavaScript. So that's what that's all about. All right, so what I wanted to do here, I said 2309. That's the duration of this video. It's not precise, but it's fine. What we're going to do there is we want to say like 23 minutes, right? So I'm going to calculate milliseconds is what I'm doing. So and then put that milliseconds, because if we say like new date, and sorry if this is still too small, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. If I say new date, like let's say 1100. That's 1100 milliseconds. So if I say, oops, I need to assign it. So if we say a.toString, and actually I'm going to pull this, I need to dock to left. All right, there we go. That's much better. There, my face is not in the way. All right. So I'm going to say not toString, 2 minutes. Minutes is going to be what? 0 because get minutes? Yeah, get minutes. It's going to be 0 because we're only dealing with a second and 100 milliseconds. If we say get milliseconds, we get 100. If we say a.get minutes, or sorry, seconds, get seconds, we should see what? 1. Yep. So this now becomes, we can encode using just the normal built-in date object. We can encode with milliseconds, and without using any external libraries, we can sort of get our durations here and then display them to the user maybe, oh, actually, wait a second. Yeah, it's a get milliseconds. So it does it right. So it's not like the total milliseconds. It's like the extra milliseconds past the second, which is a really handy way to handle very simple use cases for time. The temporal API is not ready in July 2024, but that will replace built-in for JavaScript in the browser, much better time handling than we currently have. So excited for that, but it's not there yet. So I'm not going to use it. All right, so what I'm going to do then is figure out what 23 minutes and 9 seconds is. So 9 seconds, right, is going to be 1,000 milliseconds, right? And then that's going to be, and we can double check our work at the end of this by printing out, we'll display the minutes and stuff like this. So 9, and the reason we're putting in data is because in milliseconds is because if I could just like have a string that's like 23, I'm sorry, I'm going to need to zoom in. I could have like a string that's just 2309, right? I could have just used this string. However, that means that I can't display it in other ways. Like if I wanted to write out minutes, I can't without parsing that, which is not what I want to do. So it's, as a programmer, I look at that and be like, yeah, let's do something a little bit more flexible that can give me better UX in the future. So I can just go ahead and convert this. I could build a tool or find a tool super fast, actually, was what I meant, online to do this. But I think it's kind of fun to do this and kind of solidify your own knowledge of how to use these various APIs. And we can check our work super simply at the end. If I can't print something that looks like 2309 at the end, then I made a mistake. I can go fix it. So 2309, which means 23 minutes times 60 seconds in a minute, right? Times 1,000. So unless I made a silly mistake, 23 minutes, 60 seconds in a minute. Okay, so I think this is the number of milliseconds. So let's do this. B equals a new date. Give it that milliseconds. We can say b.get minutes and 23. Perfect. And we can say get seconds, and it's 9. So that looks good. I did the calculation correct. So in other words, this duration now is, I'm just going to copy paste this data because I'm not going to read from like the YouTube API. That would be way out of scope. We want to have plain data, not call any APIs. So here's our first one. Duration is this many milliseconds. Okay. So I need to add this. So duration is a number. So now all of my video items will have a duration. So you see the arrow goes away here and the arrow pops up over here. So I'm going to add the duration property to each one of these and add a placeholder. So let's do the next. On to the next. We want to do now, the very first VOD is 2247. So I'm just going to copy paste this so I don't have to think. 47 seconds. Yep. Times 1,000 milliseconds. And I'm sorry, I already lost my train of thought. 2247. 2247. So we're very close in duration, but it's a little bit different. And that should be this first one. Okay. Next is hours. So we're actually going to have to do another calculation. So we're going to say plus 1 times 60 minutes in an hour times 60 seconds in a minute times 1,000. So we just add this extra times 60 for this clause. And we can add, this actually isn't needed, but I'm going to go ahead and add parens just so it's easier to see. But this actually doesn't change anything because of how math works with communicative, whatever, order of operations, whatever. It's been a long time. All right, so and a lot of programming doesn't need any fancy math skills, but it certainly doesn't help, especially in some domains. It's completely necessary. My math skills are mostly around game programming, so I do some 2D stuff, but and then various arithmetics. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not doing any advanced calculus or anything for the most part. So anyway, don't want to go on that tangent. So 148.57 is my, so 148.57. So 148.57. So you can see the console is super convenient here to do this work. And I'm sorry if it's still too small there. Yeah, maybe that's better. So this is my duration for my second video on my VODs. And then last, so 129.52. 129.52. Okay, so this is now in there. So we just defined our data, right? So we're done with the definitions for the duration. However, we do need to render them. So if we go to the video component, you can see I just have title. So we can close this for now. And this is, oh, we're on the website there. So actually, let's go back to the local host. You can see here is my list of things. I have this in this ordered list, which I don't love. We're going to want to change that. We can go ahead and do some slight bit of styling here. So let's add a class equals panel. Let's say padded medium, and just see how that, and then we're going to add like margin bottom large. So let's just see what this looks like. So yeah, already nicer to see. It puts the number just the way it's margined out. It indents these slightly. We have the number on the left side. We have these nice panels, and we have some padding or margin between the items. So that looks pretty good to me. At the moment, we're now going to want to add the duration. And the question is, where should that duration go? I'm just going to be kind of lazy and just put it at the bottom for now. There's going to be more stuff to add. So I think we're going to get to the icons in this as well, or at least definitely playlists. So this is still like not done at all. So we're just going to do kind of the minimum thing here. And so here, let's actually make a new component. We'll call it like video duration. So video underscore duration. And that's going to take in, actually, does it need to be duration? Let's just call it duration, because we might use it for audio one day. Yeah. This isn't actually that needed, but sometimes it can be nice to have more components than fewer. So I'm going to create a new component called duration, and which is not a great name for it, but it's fine. So that's going to take, yeah, Copilot, no. Whatever that was, definitely not. So duration is going to take in the, let's just say duration equals, and it's video dot duration. Whoops, duration. And so we have this video. So something's going on here where it doesn't like do I need to like just restart you? I'm not sure if the tools got bugged there. Yeah, the tools just got a little funky there. So I'm going to import that. You can see I need to change the routes. And then so interface here is just going to, the props for this is just going to take a number, right? And then here we want to say duration is props. Copilot got it. And then here what we'll do is we'll put it in a span and say, let's do this. So we'll say const minutes. Let's do, we're going to do hours, minutes, and seconds. We're not going to worry about milliseconds, I don't think. Yeah, we're not going to, well, no, we're not going to worry about milliseconds today. So hours, minutes, seconds. And then this is going to be equals derived. And then we say, actually we need to say like date, const date equals derived new date duration. So we're already in milliseconds. We can add that here. Time in milliseconds. Okay. Maybe duration. I just don't want to use duration again. So we are deriving this new date object, and then now we can say, so here, yeah, every time date changes. So we could add, we could use the Svelte reactive date, which let's do that, because in the future, I could see us changing this. Well, let's just make a note. So if we make this reactive, because I'm not going to worry about it. Reactive, use Svelte date. So I'm not going to worry about this today, but basically because I don't have the use case for it, and I don't want to I don't want to over complicate things. So we're just going to use the plain and built-in date. If we wanted reactivity, because we're going to recreate a new date. If the duration changes, we'll just create a new date. I think we could use Svelte date and then like set it. So let's just see really fast. S equals new Svelte date. So import from Svelte reactivity, and then say like s.set milliseconds. I think, or maybe set time. See, I don't even know the API all that well. So sets the date and time, a number representing the number of elapsed. So I think, let's just see what milliseconds is. Sets the milliseconds value. Yeah, actually, let's do this. We're going to create one object, which is the Svelte date. Yeah, let's be super Svelte today. So we're going to create this Svelte date. We'll give it the duration. And then we will say, well, this is where it gets a little complicated, right? So like I have to use an effect, which I have talked about in the past. You really don't want to be using effects, especially to set state. So the point is, like, I wanted to sync this duration property with the date and use set time as its like imperative change to it. So let's do it. To do, is this ill-advised? Question mark. Every time I see effect, I'm like, can we change that? Can we like not do that? Because it seems like effects are generally an escape hatch or for side effects to other systems. Not if like data's flowing through your system. You probably don't want to be doing this, but like I don't see a way right now to update this whenever duration changes without doing this. So we say date.set time, I believe. Did it have set duration? Was that like a hallucination? It totally was. Set time to the duration. So, and like technically this is gonna like set it twice, but I think it's fine. We're not gonna worry about it. To do this actually sets twice. Once, yeah, on mount, but it's probably, and yeah, on mount. And init, on init and mount. Then here on mount. But it shouldn't actually, so if we inspect, let's just say date. We want to inspect date.get minutes, get time. So let's do that. We're going to inspect it to make sure that like, I should be able to like change this as well. So I'm going to probably do this. So actually I just realized when we use our videos, our these are not state. Okay, perfect. I'm not sure if they're proxied. I need to, I have not used Svelte enough with like plain data to know if I import some plain data passes as a prop, does that prop get proxied? I don't think it does, but basically I'm thinking, do I need to use state.frozen? I don't think I do. Anyway, or don't have to, but I'm just trying to be like fully understand my system as I learn Svelte 5, because you're getting to see me learn Svelte 5 as I'm learning it. I've done some stuff, but definitely not a lot of advanced things that I will be doing this year. So if you want to follow this channel, get some really deep dives on Svelte 5, this is the place that I can offer that. So with this duration, we're still working here, and we're going to inspect our time here. Let's go ahead and finish up what we were saying here. So the hours is going to be date.get hours. Okay. Minutes, you can probably guess where we're going with this. Derived. Okay. Copilot, not quite. You tried. And then what we'll do here is say hours, minutes, seconds. So ideally, and actually this section, if hours, then we do this section. Otherwise, we just don't include the hours. So this, I believe, is going to give us the same kind of format, if we did it correctly, as YouTube. So no, totally wrong. And actually, we need to do like 2 fixed for these as well. So hours, actually minutes. Wait, is that right? Yeah, 2. Oh wait, not to fixed. What am I saying? We need to like prefix it with zeros. So let's do this first. Get time in milliseconds. So I might be misusing the API. It might not be set time. Let's remove this. And yeah, it's still wrong. So our hours, minutes, and seconds. Let's see what our inspecting thing is saying here. And I might have just done some, no, I already checked this though. As I said, like new date with this amount of milliseconds, a equals new date. And we say a dot get minutes, right? 23, get hours, 17. That's totally wrong. How did I mess this up? You might have seen me make a mistake. It looks like I definitely made a mistake. Here, let's put the console to the left, the right, or what am I saying? Yeah, to the left. I made some error somewhere, right? Let's go ahead and see where's my, getting lost here. Yeah, I guess I don't want to pull up the other one. I could like pull up here, I think what it was, because I thought I double checked. Yeah, this is how I was doing the calculation for seconds, minutes. This might be a very simple error that I'm making. I'm just like I'm getting, it's like, I'm a camera, but whatever. These are VODs. I'm not going to be editing these to be like, look how clever I am and always doing the right thing when I'm programming. That's not how my experience programming ever is. There's always sort of like hiccups and stuff. So here I'm like, how did I possibly get to 18 hours, right? If we do the math, I might have just made a very simple arithmetic error because I'm using the same APIs that I thought I was, right? So let's just go back to a simple date. Let's get rid of this. And our durations are just being passed in, right? And yeah, I definitely screwed up something. So let's go ahead. So 23.9, you see, that 23.09 was the duration, was it not? So I closed all my YouTubes, but let's go back to my two channels. So YouTube at WebDevLadder, YouTube at WebDevLadder VODs. So 23.09 here, you can see it looks almost correct. So yeah, 23.9. So the 17 is the problem. So why does it say 17? Let's do the math one more time. We say 23 minutes times 60 seconds times 1,000 to get milliseconds. And to that, we're going to add 9 times 1,000. So this is our duration. Let's go back. I might just be like misunderstanding how date works. I thought, let's just not worry about the Svelte date for now. Actually, I'll keep it there just in case I want to actually implement that. So yeah, this is my duration. Let's see what my data says. Yeah, it says it's the right thing. And so I guess the thing is, let's do this. So A equals this, B equals new date with A, B dot get minutes. I guess I might not have ever, and then, so that's correct. Get seconds is there. I guess get hours. Let's see what that says. Yeah, okay. So I was just misunderstanding how this date API works. This is not for durations. It's basically like, wait, no, how does that make sense? 20, how is this not 0? How did I screw this up? 60 minutes. Oh, seconds, 23. I am stumped. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I could import like date functions, which is a library, rather than struggling on camera. Let's see, but like that's not a good reason to import a library. Get UTC. Maybe this is my problem. Maybe I'm using the wrong API. So I thought I even tested that with get hours, but maybe not. So let's say get UTC hours. That's 0. Okay. 23. So yeah, I think it's time zone stuff. I'm 17. I'm like, yeah, minus, I'm in mountain time, US, which means 7. I'm like GMT minus 7. I bet that's what it is. Okay, cool. You guys have seen me troubleshoot like something that made me pretty insecure because I'm like, I can't do dates. It's like, yeah, okay. Just add UTC. You're all good. It's fine. All right. So UTC, is there get UTC time? So B dot get UTC time? No. UTC minutes, months. So is it get time? Is that going to return me the correct value? It does. Okay. So get time is not relative to the, and you can see that, right? Yeah. Get time is not relative to the time zone, but get minutes, get seconds, those are. So, oh well, you learn. This is how you learn. So let's just double check that what I was saying is going to work correctly. So yeah, now we're good. So 23.9, that should be 09. And then 22.47, and then here. So what we can do is format these values. So we want to say format seconds and minutes. Now, if there's no hours, so we're going to do this. So we're going to do some new derived. We're going to say const formatted minutes equals, and we don't want to pad it with strings. Like here, let me, so like foo.pad start with a, whoops, what am I saying? To like 4, whoops, totally not paying attention. Okay, so, and then if you say like 5, so you can pad start with, so pad start, is pad start, let me just double check something. Pad start, can I use? Here? Yeah, IE cannot do pad start, but we can do pad start. Sorry, Opera Mini. I've never talked to anybody who has used Opera Mini. Not that, sorry, I'll zoom in. Can show you if like browser support. This looks fine. 17.5. Yeah, it started. Okay, this has been in for a while. No reason not to avoid, or to avoid pad start. So pad start will be used to say, hey, like if we have like a 9, we want to say like pad start 2 with zeros, right? So that now we'll say 09, but we only want to pad start if we have hours as well. So to do formatted minutes, we say, hey, if there's hours, whoops, we want to do derived. If we say hours, then it's it's minutes dot pad to fixed with 0. Yeah, do we need to pass anything? Let's just do something really fast. So 123.to fixed, just gonna, yeah, like 1, what? Invalid. So it's like you have to like do like a equals 123. Yeah, a.to fixed 0. Let's just leave it off, and then 1. Okay, so these should be whole numbers. So actually, let's just do toString to be clear. And then that's going to be, so that's minutes. And then so if we're if we have an hours value, we want to pad start to a length. Oh, it actually got it right. So I think this is just correct. So pad start to a length of 2, because that's like the minute section of your time. And then you pad it with zeros. Okay, so that's formatted minutes. So let's replace formatted minutes there. Same with seconds. So we basically need the exact same thing with seconds, except instead of hours, we say, hey, are there minutes? So if it's only like, if I have a 60 or a 59 second video, it'll just say like, yeah, we'll have 0 as the minutes, and then colon, and then the seconds. That sounds right to me. So we don't need to add an if guard around this. We always want to show minutes. And this is just like one of those UX things, right? It sounds inconsistent, but it's actually much better for the UX to have like, you don't want to just have like 59, right? What does 59 mean? But if you have like 0:59, you know it's, oh, okay, that's the time. And you're seeing it where you expect to see time. So you can add other icons and stuff, but almost certainly not needed or helpful even. All right, so this is not, that's just like the linter being weird. So yeah, boom, we have padded time, right? So it looks like our durations are correct. We're gonna format that slightly different here. We'll do it over here, not in the duration component. The duration component will stay as a simple component that doesn't worry about its layout. And then, so yeah, this was good. Like, right, if I had inlined all this code, it would have been gross, right? I could have like created like a duration class and then use that class in here instead of a component and then just render text. But this is really clean, right? I can just pass in the duration. I was thinking, oh, do I destructure duration here so I could just pass it through? It's like, I probably don't need to worry about that, but I could. So we can do this. I'm wondering, do we want to create, this is not reactive to the duration changing. So let's do this. I'm trying to think of a quick way to show the reactivity because I think we do want to use the Svelte version. But for now, we have something working. Let's push it up. So now we kind of saved our work. We saved our place. And yeah, putting the duration here is fine. It kind of reads just fine. I'm sure I'm going to want to change these a lot over time. Like we're going to add tags and playlists. Actually, we'll add playlists in this video even. So this will change, but not going to worry about it right now. So next then, what we want to do is do the reactive date thing I was mentioning. So to do this, I'm going to do something kind of funky, and then I'm going to just kind of reset everything except for like changes I make over here. So first what I'm going to do is change the video to add like a bunch of time on a set timeout. So this is like not ever what you should be doing, but like for testing purposes, this is fine. So we're going to say like, let's say let v equals video. We're going to use the v instead of the video, and that's going to be state. Okay. And then on a timeout, and we'll do this in like 2 seconds, we're going to just create a new video, v equals, actually I probably don't even need to do that, but whatever, duration. And then we'll say v.duration plus, and then we'll add not just that, so 1,000 milliseconds times 60 times, yeah, sure. This adds like, let's do like a weird number. So like 4. So this is going to add like 4 hours to our duration after 2 seconds. So let's just see what happens, because I bet nothing is going to happen, right? And actually I can log out so we know when this is calling. Console.log. Actually, we can probably just do inspect. I have like, yeah, I have, wait, my ins, yeah, cool, v. Okay, so I have some aliases that I'm trying to learn for Svelte. Oh, $. Is that in my snippets? Are my snippets wrong? Let me see really fast. Yeah, inspect. Yeah, $. Should have been there. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, $. should. Oh. Is it like back? No. Do I need to escape the $? Yeah. Let me just see that really fast again. So I'm going to say ins with this inspect. Yeah, it doesn't include the $. So how do you get a literal $? Here? Like that? Maybe? And actually, am I in two places? ins. Okay, I needed to add, that's good to know. So I will try to remember to fix this later. Actually, let's do it. So you'll get to see my setup project. So I have this is actually open source, so you can go see it. Basically, my snippets here. Whoops, snips. All right. So I'm just going to copy over all the snippets I just updated. Sorry if I'm bouncing around too fast. I have snippets now updated here. You can see I added a derived store that I forgot to. Oh, I removed that. I don't need this derived store. I don't use derived stores anymore. Old code, gone. Thank you for your service. So, and then I delete something else, which is Svelte if, Svelte render, Svelte if, so wait, if else render. What am I missing? Let me see here. What is it saying I deleted? Oh, just the to-do. Okay. So now, okay, so I'm gonna say like fix Svelte inspect $inspect. Yeah, this escaping of these is weird. I don't know. Here, that maybe inspect snippets. Because you also have to escape $ in bash. Sorry if this is too small. All right. So, and then now if you go over to GitHub, my name setup. I don't know. That's a bug in Firefox. If you just saw that, I have no idea. I think it's because I'm going too fast. Is my only guess. It has been bugging me for literally years, and I tried to Google it. I can't ever find it. But basically, you just saw that, right? I'm not crazy. It opens up about config if I just like try to go to a URL too fast. I don't know. Maybe I'm too fast for Firefox. That's a weird thing to say. Okay, setup is where I'm going. Whoops, setup. So this is that setup repo that I just pushed. You can see this commit where I said fix Svelte inspect snippets. I'm at 99 commits, but basically like this is what I use to document my setup and has some scripts that are sometimes broken, especially WSL just breaks everything all the time. I don't know what's going on, but in a normal Ubuntu install, it should just work to like set up your environment, but whatever. It also just documents like my environment, so I remember how to like get a fresh computer going, which is always. I'm not a person who likes tweaking that stuff, so I always appreciate when it's just like easy to do, and because I just want to get back to coding as fast as possible in most cases. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm modifying as a test case this video item with a different duration, and so. What we're going to do is refresh the page here. We need to run our server, I guess. It did crash. Oh, because inspect is not a function, so it crashed the entire server. We're now back here. In 2 seconds, we see an error. So inspect can only be used inside an effect. Fine, console.log. All right. And because I'm doing like an async thing, it's not really an effect. And yeah, so it is just to clarify, it's proxying, but that's because I think I declared it with state. Let's actually just like log out video. I want to see if video is proxied. So wait 2 seconds. Video is not proxied. That's good to know. So it's not proxying at the prop level. That's what I was hoping for. Okay, that's what definitely makes sense to me. It's only proxying if you put it in $state. Okay, it proxies like in terms of getters and stuff on the props object if you like have rest props or something, but I don't think it's not proxying obviously the data. So I don't have to use like state frozen is what I was saying earlier. No need to do state frozen, which would opt out of the proxying. So like I could do like state.frozen here. And that's probably actually cleaner. So you'll see like now here, the objects will not be proxied. They don't have this like proxy wrapper that they just had. So I have this thing where I'm like setting with crazy duration, but you'll notice my times actually are the exact same as they previously were. So what's going on? Well, it's because my date is not reactive, right? I get this property in, I set the new date, and this date is never changed. I'm saying it's a constant, and it's just a new date. And then that duration, if I change it, never does change the value here. So we're going to import Svelte date instead, and then we're going to do something that might be, whenever I see myself setting state inside of an effect, I'm like, ugh, can I not, please? Gonna do this, refresh the page, and let's see what happens. Aha! So it worked. The Svelte date reacted to me setting the duration. So, and I can show you this. So console.log setting, actually I could have done inspect. So I can do, let's use my new thing. Wait, what? INS, it's my, yeah, INS duration. And let's see that you can see it calls it on init and then on update. And then what I was saying with like this, it runs twice because we're actually setting the duration twice. I think it's those smart enough to be like, oh, the duration hasn't changed. We're not actually going to do anything. So I could like do a little bit more code to skip one. I have a skip helper somewhere, but not going to worry about it. So to do, this actually sets twice. We'll leave that to do, and then we'll come back. Is there a better way? Is there a better way to sync the prop to the reactive object? Question mark. If you know, please let me know. I want to know. I have YouTube comments that I try to pay attention to, and then the Discord if you want to hop in there. So we have reactivity on our date. So if for whatever reason in the future, if a different component uses duration, the component that we just made, and changes the duration on it, it will now react correctly. And it doesn't have to create a new date object every time. It can very efficiently create this, this date once and then update it whenever it's needed. So super nice design that we have because of the Svelte date. So love it. Absolutely love it. We can remove all of this test code and use the V now as video again. So we now should only see change. Whoops, accidentally closed my watcher. Yeah, we can see that I only have changes in one file, and that looks good. We verified that our reactivity works like we wanted it to. And yeah, that looks good. So let's hop over back to the GitHub, and we added durations. Yeah, so durations are done. So next I could say I could add playlists, and then I could add logos. So I started this almost an hour ago, and I'm wondering if this is a good time to stop. We kind of just like, what we did was we added two new, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call this video complete. Don't need to necessarily always push it over an hour. We can come back and do the playlist and logos as their own standalone videos. So it will be part of this same series for webdevladder.net. This will be a new playlist. And then in the next video, what we'll do, I'm gonna change this to follow-ups. In the follow-ups, we will add playlists. So you'll get to see me do a little bit more, add a little bit more data to these. And then we will have to do some transformations to group them by the playlists. And then we'll also add logos. And actually, yeah, so I'm gonna do both project and YouTube. So I will have the YouTube logo ready to go. So including YouTube SVG in fuzz. So I might hold off on actually adding it to fuzz so you can see me do that process. But I'll get the YouTube SVG ready to go because you don't want to see me like editing the raw data of an SVG that I find on the internet. That's not the best use of our time here. So yeah, let's go ahead and finish what we started in terms of where on this branch, we should see that CI passes, which it does, which means we can go ahead and merge you over. So add more VODs and add video duration. So we got it. All right, there's no change set needed. We can add that as the title. There's no change set needed because this is not a library. So if you've seen me do change sets in other times, that's why. So I'm going to, whoops, what am I trying to do? So we're going to check out main branch. We're going to delete the branch we were just on, add more VODs, pull it down, and then say grow deploy. So if we go over to webdevladder.net where we started, what we're going to do, you can see if I refresh the page, we just have our one video on each of my channels here. What we're going to see in just a minute is that since we have webdevladder.net, the deploy branch is now deploying. You can see it's pending. Any minute now, when we refresh the page here, we're going to see this be updated with the work we just did. So we'll be able to see our durations for our YouTube. We have that duration programmatically defined as milliseconds, which will be really flexible in the future. We created this duration component. We made that duration component reactive with a Svelte date, which is pretty cool. And there we are. So we just added our durations to our data here. So that's all for this one. In the next one, like I said, we'll add playlists. And so thanks and see you next time.